Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. We should actually repeat everything what Prabhupada says anyway. Krishna's mother, father, abode, house, bedding, seats, and so on are all transformations of Suddha Sattva. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Krishna's father, mother, and household affairs are all displayed in the same Vishuddha Sattva existence. A living entity situated in the status of pure goodness can understand the form, qualities, and other features of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna consciousness begins on the platform of pure goodness. Although there is a faint realization of Krishna at first, Krishna is actually realized as Vasudeva, the absolute proprietor of omnipotence, or the prime predominating deity of all potencies. When the living entity is situated in Vishuddha Sattva, transcendental to the three material modes of nature, he can perceive the form, qualities, and other features of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through his service attitude. The status of pure goodness is the platform of understanding, for the Supreme Lord is always in spiritual existence. Krishna is always all spiritual. Aside from the parents of the personality of Godhead, all the other paraphernalia of his existence are also essentially a manifestation of Sandhini Shakti. Aside from his parents. Now that's difficult to understand, but one day the light will switch on in our heart and we will understand. Or a transformation of Vishuddha Sattva. To make this more clear, it may be said that this Sandhini Shakti of the internal potency maintains and manifests all the variegatedness of the spiritual world. In the kingdom of God, the Lord's servants and maidservants, his consorts, his father and mother, and everything else are all transformation of the spiritual existence of Sandhini Shakti. The existential Sandhini Shakti in the external potency similarly expands all the variegatedness of the material cosmos, from which we can have a glimpse of the spiritual field. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadandikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam, pangalam gayate girim. Yatkripa tamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam. By the mercy of the spiritual master, a blind man can see stars in the sky. By the mercy of the spiritual master, a lame man can cross mountains, and by the mercy of the spiritual master, a dumb man can speak eloquently. Therefore today I offer my humble obeisances to the lotus feet of my spiritual master. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Tamala Krishna Goswamini Tinamine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamini Tinamine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunnavati Pashkarati Sattahime Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Paditanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Now, I personally, I don't know about all of you, I felt a little confused and this is a proof that, the speaker, sometimes he thinks he knows everything, and therefore he speaks with authority. But today I can reveal to you that the speaker doesn't know everything, unless Krishna will give some light. Now, in the purport here, there is something, maybe you can help me, all of you. It says, the external, the status of pure goodness is the platform of understanding for the Supreme Lord, is always in spiritual existence. Krishna is all spiritual, is always spiritual. Aside from the parents of the personality of Godhead, all the other paraphernalia of his existence are also essentially a manifestation of Sandhini Shakti, or a transformation of Vishuddha Sattva. Then later on in the purport, it says here, in the kingdom of God, the Lord's servants and maidservants, his consort, his father and mother. Now, his father and mother, they are included. Please follow me, yeah? And everything else are all transformations of the spiritual existence of Sandhini Shakti. Now, how do we explain that? Any Pandit? Yes?
When he says the side from his parents, in that context it means his parents included. It doesn't mean to say his parents apart. The word aside usually means apart, but in this context it means as well as his parents.
Is he correct, Sutapa Prabhu? So included.
Because his parents have already been mentioned, this is why this time is aside from his parents, which I've already mentioned, everyone else. Because the Mata and Pita was mentioned in the verse.
Right. Okay, that's answer. So when you use the word, when you use this term in English, aside, is different from apart.
Not always. It doesn't always mean two different meanings.
Right. It's synonymous, but sometimes different. But in this context, right? Thank you. So included. So that means included his parents. All the manifestations of Krishna's expansions, they're all springing out of Sandhini Shakti. Of course, we all know that from Balaram. Balaram is the reservoir, the source of all the paraphernalia of Krishna. But the previous translation, we should not forget, it says, the essential portion of Sandhini potency is Suddha Sattva. Lord Krishna's existence rests upon it. So that Krishna is the catalyst principle behind even Balaram, is and he himself rests on this Sandhini potency. So in other words, just to make the whole class short on this verse, the Sandhini is the enjoying potency. Ladini Shakti is the enjoyed potency. That's what Srila Prabhupada early on he describes. And the Samvit is cogniscent is the awareness of, it's where everything, the teachings, the activities, the order, the feeling, everything is when everything is explained, that means knowledge. So Samvit, it's the knowledge, the awareness of of Radha and Krishna, and the awareness of all the expansions of Krishna, the awareness of the jiva, that we know that we are individual, we have a memory, that awareness means sambandha gyan, that we understand that who is Krishna, what is the spiritual world, what is this material world, where we come from, what is the purpose of life, where we go after we die. So Samvit is very important principle. It's just an energy that constitutes the awareness for Krishna and all the living entities. In other words, consciousness. So we don't want to discuss too much about this. There's been already a lot of discussion on these three potencies. But we know that that's the order. The Sandhini is the Purusha, Lord Krishna, principle. And the Ladini Shakti is the is the pleasure potency. It gives a pleasure to the Sandhini. And then the Samvit gives which is a subordinate to the Hladini, and it's the awareness. So to understand how these three energy they operate, actually Prabhupada says in the purport that we have to perform devotional service. With the help of devotional service, everything becomes manifested. And then we understand the hierarchy, the order of these three potencies. So today is the disappearance day of Srila Jagannath Babaji Maharaj, and His Holiness Tamala Krishna Goswami, who was our contemporary. So we'll try to say a little something on Jagannath Babaji Maharaj first, who was an exalted, great personalities. He was the chief amongst the Vaishnavas, recognized by our great Acharya Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, even though he was initiated by Vipin Bihari, who was his Harinam Guru, or you can call it a Diksha Guru. But our line, it's a Shiksha line. You can see that Bhaktivinoda Thakur did not initiate Srila Gaurakishore Babaji Maharaj, but nevertheless, Gaurakishore Babaji Maharaj accepted him as a Shiksha Guru. And so similarly, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he accepted Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj as the predominating Guru in his life, the prominent Guru, Shiksha. It is actually bona fide. It doesn't mean that just because you are initiated by a particular person, then that person is the most important person in your life. This is usually the mentality of a neophyte devotee. He maybe is the most important person if he's a special guru, but it is not the stereotype. It is not a must. It is not an imperative statement. Because we know that many acharyas, even though they got initiated by a particular person, but still they found their Shiksha Guru, like Raghunath Das Goswami. It says that Lord Chaitanya gave him the initiation, but still the most important person in his life, who was it? That's the one, Swarup Damodar. Lord Chaitanya called him Raghu of Swarup. Of means belonging. Raghu of Swarup. He was known as the boy of Swarup Damodar. Because that was the attachment also from the spiritual world. Raghunath Das Goswami is a Raga Manjari and is a little girl always serving under the shelter and guidance of Swarup Damodar, who is Lalita Saki. So the Lord, He doesn't interfere into this between the bond of His devotees. So therefore there is also a bond between Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Jagannath Babaji Maharaj. Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj was very exalted personality, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave him the title of Sarvabhauma, the chief amongst all the Vaishnavas. He was born in West Bengali, as we all know, and he had a very longevous life. 100, how many years did he live? Does anybody know by heart? 130 something, 135 years. It's very difficult to understand. 135, usually people at the age of 60s, 70s, they have dementia. They can't remember who they are, who is their mother, the father. Of course, this is the nature of Kali now. By the force and the waves of sinful activities, people, the life is shortened and the body is destroyed. But you could see that the life of these personalities, it was very longevous and did not affect their consciousness, the brain. He was so intelligent, such a good memory. Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, he had some bodily difficulty. He was crippled at the age of 90. When he went into the 90s, he could not walk very much. He could not do much with his body, but he had a few disciples, very, very few. One of them was B.R. Das Babaji, became later on, and the other one was Bhagavan something. And those two confidential disciples, they would provide all the nursing for him and they would look after his bodily needs. They would carry him around in a basket. And he was actually very handsome when he was young, very tall, 2 meters tall. How many feet is 2 meters? 6 feet? 6 something, like Sutapa Prabhu. 2 meters. I think you're about 2 meters. People, it's actually a beauty to be tall. It's classified in the Manu Samhita, one of the beauty. And in the future of Kali Yuga, it is said that people, they become more ugly in the future, and the tallest man will be 1 meter tall. Shishirada Gokulananda Ki Jai. So he was 2 meters tall, and his body he resembled the feature of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is said that when he was young, he would shave. He was from an aristocratic family. He had a very small hands, small feet, but long legs and long arms, just like the feature of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. These are all the signs of Mahapurush, someone who is a special personalities. Like Lord Chaitanya had very long arms, and he had a thin neck. So Sarvabhauma, this Jagannath Babaji Maharaj, he had a similar beauty like Lord Chaitanya. That Bhaktivinoda Thakur, occasionally he would, with the pretext of working assignment, he would tell the authority, I have to go to such and such place to do some work. But actually it was not truth. He was just attracted by the beauty of Jagannath Das Babaji. And he would go and he would drink the beauty of Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj with his eyes. And he would remind him Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And one day his son, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's son, became very sick. One of his older son. And he brought him to the feet of Jagannath Babaji Maharaj. And he said, he's very sick. The doctors, they think that he has no hope, he may die. What do you think we should do? And Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj said, oh, do not worry, just leave him here in the dust. Just let him roll in the dust. So the boy was rolling around in pain. He had some sickness, terminal sickness. But so after he rolled in the dust of the dam, then the boy he stood up and he was starting to dance and chant the names of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur could see that this was a miracle. This sage was not an ordinary personality. And Babaji Maharaj, he made a statement, it's not me, this is that you could see, this is a tangible proof that the dust of the dam is not different from Mahaprabhu, has the power to heal and to satisfy the desires of anyone. So that's why the devotees, they go to the Dham, we go to Mayapur, Vrindavan. We underestimate the power of the dust. There is a say that three things are remained from which are visible to our eyes, and they have the magic power. One is the Jamuna, and the other one is the dust of the dam, and Govardhan Hill. Is it correct? Those three things are the visible, evidential places, and they perform a miracle. So Babaji Maharaj was like that. He would always give the credit to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was always very humble. He never, even though he had all the 8 CD, great mystic yogi, but he will never boast to be the Adikarta, to be the doer of all he's doing. So one day, one of his disciples was carrying him on a basket, and a very rich man put 1 rupee in a basket. He threw the rupee in the basket. You could see, Babaji Maharaj was with his head down, and he saw the rupee falling in the basket, and immediately he felt the burden of that rupee. So he said, immediately, go back, chase that man, go back there and give him the rupee back. So he picked up, Babaji Maharaj picked up the rupee and he gave it back to the man. He said, I cannot bear the burden of 1 rupee. It's so heavy. I don't understand how you can bear the burden of all your wealth. So he gave the rupee back. It is true, because wealth creates anxiety. Anxiety is actually a burden, isn't it? When we have debts, it's an anxiety. It's a burden when we have no money, and it's a burden when we have lots of money. This is a material world. No matter how you move, you feel the weight. Of course, if you are Krishna conscious and you have a lot of money, it's not a burden because you're using Krishna service. And vice versa. If you have no money, it's not a problem because life of the renunciant is supposed to be simple. So either you have something or you don't have anything. It's Krishna's anyway. So Babaji Maharaj was like that. Then one day he manifested the desire to have a Gonitai deity. And his disciple Bhagavan Das, he went to a place and he discovered these 2 beautiful Gornitai. And immediately when they went to the presence of Jagannath Babaji Maharaj, they became so beautiful and goldish complexion. Both deities, they resembled gold. And then one day they built a temple for these deities, and he started to worship them. And then a bunch of dacoits, they became so attracted by those deities, they were convinced that those deities, they were fashioned from gold, that they must be gold. And they tried to steal the deities, but they could not succeed. They were so heavy, they couldn't take them. And then Jagannath Babaji Maharaj, he didn't want to create any anxiety for the Lord to be disturbed. So he said, give these deities away. Just give them away to a good family. So his disciple gave the deities to a Brahmana family in Vrindavan. And they're still there. They're now in Vrindavan. And if you go and see them, I was reading in this little book that they're actually in a place still worshipped by the legacy of this Brahmana family, the descendant. And there is a temple there. I forgot the place, but if you get one of these books, you can see Babaji, dancing. You can find out where the deities they are in Vrindavan, and they look like a gold, very very beautiful. So he another time he was just absorbed in his bhajan, and people, they would come and get the blessings from him. And then some politicians, one day they came with some big business people. They wanted to see, they were curious to see some kind of miracle from the Babaji. And they went to him and they said, Babaji, could you please share a miracle for us? Could you do something? And of course, he became very angry. He picked up the stick, and he beat the stick against the bush. And his people, they got terrorized. And they told, he's attacking us. It's better we don't disturb him. And then they saw his anger, his wrath, and they said, sorry, we didn't really want to disturb your meditation, your bhajan. I think we have made an offense to your lotus feet. Please forgive us. And he said, no, don't worry. I was not angry at you. He said, I was chasing off the goat that was eating the tulsi plant from the samadhi of Lokanath Goswami in Vrindavan. So these people, they were scratching their head. You were chasing a goat, but how do you know that that there is the goat was eating the tulsi plant? So what they did, they went back, these people, and they sent a telegram, I think it was a telegram or something, to find out if it was true. And then the telegram came back from Braj saying that actually there was a goat trying and destroyed the plant, the tulsi plant of the samadhi of Lokanath Goswami, and he's been chased away. So these people, they could understand that actually he's a great personality. And he was all the way in Navadvip. Babaji Maharaj was actually doing his bhajan in Navadvip. So how did he know that this thing was going? This is called mantra upasana. Even though you do your bhajan, but things they are revealed. You become, like we mentioned the word before, cognisant. You become aware of a particular pastimes. They're taking place elsewhere. Maybe in the spiritual world or another place, or this is a gift from Krishna. So Jagannath Babaji Maharaj we don't talk much about him, but he was a great humble devotee of Mahaprabhu. Not very much of Lord Krishna, Radha and Krishna, but he was very attracted by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he had so much liking for him, because who is a devotee in Kali Yuga? Who is a true devotee of Lord Krishna? It's not someone who worships Radha and Krishna, but someone who worships Gaur Nitai. He lived in Vrindavan for some time, but he felt himself very uncomfortable. He felt himself very low, sinful, and therefore one day he packed up his little bag and he said, "That's it, I'm going to Navadvip and I'm never here to come back again." And all the Vaishnavas, they were inquiring, why are you going away? He said, "I'm not fit like all of you to be here, to live in the Dham. Vrindavan, it's a place for exalted personalities like all of you. But there is a place in this world fit for sinful people like me, and that's Navadvip. Lord Chaitanya takes no offense. He gives shelter. He's very merciful, and he gives shelter to all the sinful people. And therefore I am one of the most sinful." So this is humility. When you see that actually yesterday we were discussing, even though you are up there spiritually, but you see yourself down there. Because you could see that this is the awareness. Spiritual advancement doesn't mean that the soul is advancing. It doesn't mean that I become great. It means that I become aware of how low and insignificant and small I am. Just like when you open up the tap, the stopcock of the tap of water. Sometimes the stopcock, if it's higher, you could see that considered to be like a false ego. If it's very higher, you may feel, that I'm very high, very, very advanced. But actually there is no flow of water. You're just closing the flow of the water. So, but when you open up the tap and the stopcock will go down, more down it goes, and more the water flows through. So, humble devotees is like that. He brings down his false ego, and more down it goes, and more the flow of Krishna qualities. And that's when a devotee becomes imbued with all the qualities of Krishna. Compassion, mercy. Krishna says in the Gita, I am the ability in man. And I was reading here also, when will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities? Is the reservoir. Krishna is the reservoir of all the qualities. It's not us. Sometimes we make mistakes. Even when we address another devotee, that devotee he has actually so many nice qualities. That's correct, but they don't belong to him, belong to Krishna. Krishna is kept the flow open. Krishna is giving him so many wonderful qualities. And that's why we say that he's decorated with the qualities of Krishna consciousness. Because anything good, it's actually from Krishna. Of course, the soul, it's eternally happy and full of knowledge. But the beautiful decorations, the qualities that we have, the empowerment, it's all from Krishna. Krishna empowers the demigods. Krishna empowers someone to become beautiful. Krishna empowers someone to become intelligent. Krishna empowers someone to become powerful, or empowers someone to become wealthy. All these are the reservoirs, from the reservoirs of Krishna. So, Jagannath Babaji Maharaj, he lived 135 years, and he passed away in Navadvip in the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was the one that encouraged Srila Bhaktisiddhanta to record the Vaishnav calendar. It's by the mercy of Sarvabhauma, Jagannath Babaji Maharaj, that we have a calendar, Vaishnav calendar. He encouraged Srila Bhaktisiddhanta to write down all the appearance, disappearance day of all the associates of Lord Chaitanya, appearance day of Krishna, appearance day of Lord Ramachandra. Everything was according to the exact astrology. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta formed the first Vaishnav calendar upon the order of Jagannath Babaji Maharaj. And that's why today we are able to keep a record to celebrate either the disappearance day or appearance day of all the Vaishnavas, and to celebrate the appearance day of Krishna, Radha and Krishna, Balaram, Lord Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya, Sitaram, Lakshmana, Hanuman. So, he passed away in Navadvip, and he joined the Adi-lila, pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. And then later on, a few years later, 150 years later, another great Vaishnav was born in the United States of America. And he became initiated disciple, follower of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, and his 1968 he became as initiated disciple with the name of Tamal Krishna Das, and later on became Tamal Krishna Goswami. He was the first GBC appointed by Srila Prabhupada. Very much, Srila Prabhupada very much appreciated and admired the ability of Tamal Krishna Maharaj in management, and both with the people and with temples, money, and with everything else. He was the one who started the Radha Damodar party, who started actually book distribution. Book distribution activities in ISKCON, they were not started by Srila Prabhupada in terms of Prabhupada. He suggested to the devotees, if you cannot make any money by working and be Krishna conscious, then just go out and do Harinam. So devotees, they just had this idea of Harinam. And then later on, from Harinam came some BTG distribution. It was the idea of Vishnujan, Tamala Krishna Maharaj. They came up with this idea to sell this transcendental literature, and then it became big. And then later on, they were selling Srila Prabhupada's books, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, and these books, they've been functioning in both ways, making devotees and keeping devotees. They keep us Krishna conscious by reading them, and also they have the power to make devotees. So Prabhupada was very fond of this activity of book distribution, and we are investing our humble effort to carry on this activity to please Tamala Krishna Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada and all the Acharya. So he was also Srila Prabhupada's secretary. The later years of Srila Prabhupada's life, Prabhupada very much trusted him, and he invited him in his confidence. He became a very confidential disciple. He would trust him with personal keys. Prabhupada had safes. He had a safe where he would keep all the personal stuff, passport and documents, his checkbook, BBT, checkbook account, his own personal dakshin, cash, and all the private things. And Srila Prabhupada, he would entrust him with that key. Prabhupada wouldn't give that key to anyone else. So this is the success of the disciple when he win the trust of the Guru. That means that you're very close to your spiritual master. Means that you blend your opinion. Your opinion becomes the opinion of your Guru. And the desire that you have becomes the desire of your Guru. All the activities that you want to perform, they become the activity that the Guru wants you to do. So Srila Prabhupada was very impressed by His Holiness Tamala Krishna Goswami. Very pleased. I use the word very because Prabhupada very often he was pleased with the activities of his devotees, but often there were some activities and some disciples that he was actually specifically very pleased. And not just with Tamala Krishna Maharaj, but with quite a few of them. Prabhupada very often he would show tears of gratitude. Even once Srila Prabhupada invited him for lunch. Prabhupada actually never invited anybody for lunch. And he called it transcendental business lunch. He said, today I won't invite you for lunch. Because Prabhupada would always take prasada on its own. The Guru, it's not obliged to invite the disciple for lunch. But Prabhupada there is no record that Prabhupada invited any of his disciples. Very often the disciples, they would take prasada together with Prabhupada, But Prabhupada verbally, he never said, I would like to invite you for lunch. And Prabhupada, of course, it was a business lunch. Prabhupada said, do you know why I invited you for lunch? He said, I never asked any of my disciples to come and eat with me because I want something from you. There was motivation there. And that's when Prabhupada sent him back to America and he became the Radha Damodar party. So, and also he wanted him to come to UK and to start Sankirtan here, book distribution, and he did. So he did so many things which they were very confidential, very much dear to Srila Prabhupada. So today is his disappearance day also, and it is sad that ISKCON has lost a great pillar at such a young age. He passed away at the age of 55. He would have been now something like 61 years old if he was still with us. He was a Naistiki sannyasi, in my opinion. Very pure. He was occasionally strong, but very soft heart, very much misunderstood by so many people. But his heart was always, he never criticized anybody, was always full of compassion, and always, even if he had an argument with someone, either one of his god brother, or he would immediately, make it up. But in terms of intelligence, he was very deep person. He systematically preached the message of Krishna consciousness, which is the very first purpose of ISKCON, to systematically preach the science of Krishna consciousness. And he was very expert with the intellectuals, with the academics, with commoners, all sorts of people, with the devotees, with the scientists. He was a friend and to everyone, and very accommodating. A great example of sadhana, Shastra. I'm not saying all these things because he's my spiritual master, but I'm also saying because he's my spiritual master. It is my duty to glorify my spiritual master. But I'm also saying in terms of institutional behavior, because he was also a member of the institution, and therefore generally he was an example. It's not that he was very partial to his disciples and then he would neglect the disciples of other gurus, or he was selfish in his relationship with Prabhupada. He would neglect his relationship or the relationship that his god brothers they had with Prabhupada. He was very considerate. His non-disciples, they would always come first. He would treat them with white gloves. He was very good on etiquette. Prabhupada personally trained him. He was always giving pleasure to his god brothers, always connecting his god brothers to Srila Prabhupada, introducing them to Srila Prabhupada, bringing them close to Prabhupada. Just like the gopis, they do, they bring other devotees close to Radha and Krishna. So he never felt, that Prabhupada is mine and, if you want go to Prabhupada, you have to come through me. It was never like that. Even though some devotees they thought was like that, but it was not. He would always emphasize that you can come close to Prabhupada through service, not through argument. You do a lot of service, you will recognize that person and you will bring close to Prabhupada. But some people, they won't do any service. They said, oh, I want to go close to Prabhupada. And of course, they won't get the direct association of Prabhupada. Because the relationship with Guru is based on service. So, we finish here. And hopefully, these two personalities will shower some blessings and mercy upon us, that we carry on our activities in Krishna consciousness. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Shri Jagannath Babaji Maharaj ki jai, Srila Tamala Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gol Premanande, Haribo. So it's 8:45. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.